of order, Madam Speaker.
Member for 𝙍𝙬𝙍𝙎, what is your point of order?
Standing Order 252. Madam Speaker, I move the suspension so much of standing orders which would prevent me moving a motion to refer the Anti-Discrimination Amendment Bill 2025 Serial 28 to the Legislative Scrutiny Committee.
So your motion is to suspend standing orders?
That's correct. Standing Order 252. And I'll speak to that motion if I may, Madam Speaker.
Continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Attorney-General has brought forward the Northern Territory's Anti-Discrimination Bill, the amendments, and she's spoken at length about the changes that the government are proposing. But, Madam Speaker, let's be absolutely clear what this bill is actually proposing, Madam Speaker. It's including changes that wind back vilification protections and opening the door to unlawful discrimination under the guise of freedom. These aren't minor tweaks, Madam Speaker. They go to the heart of equality, safety and dignity for many Territorians. Madam Speaker, I absolutely urge the government to support the suspension of standing orders to allow this to go to the Legislative Scrutiny Committee, because this will provide an important opportunity for proper scrutiny of the bill's real-world impacts, Madam Speaker, a chance for Territorians, especially those in remote, in diverse and vulnerable communities, to be heard, and its accountability, Madam Speaker, for decisions that weaken hard-won protections. Madam Speaker, if the government believes this legislation is sound, it should have no problem putting it under the spotlight. Anything less looks like an attempt to ram it through without public consent. Let the committee do the work. Let's be open. Let's provide the opportunity for Territorians to have their say. Madam Speaker, you only have to look online this morning, the NT News, all over social media, hundreds of Territorians already voicing their concerns or asking questions. We should go to a public inquiry. We should go to a public hearing. We should allow people from our community to have a say and to ask those questions, and for all the stakeholders to come together, to present to the committee, to put forward their position, whether it's for or against, and be clear in their articulation why changes are needed or why the bill should remain as it is. This is incredibly important for the Northern Territory, Madam Speaker. And there absolutely is not just one group of people who should be consulted on this. This affects many people. In fact, this affects every Territorian, because the Anti-Discrimination Act is an act of rights. It's about important protections for people. It is about protecting people from harmful, hurtful, offensive, bigotry, racism. It's about protecting vulnerable communities, our multicultural communities, our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities, our Territorians who are subjected to discrimination because of domestic violence, Territorians who are discriminated against because of their sexual orientation. This is an important bill. This should be open and transparent to Territorians to have a say. Because as I've said, Madam Speaker, jump online, have a look at the number of people already concerned, and this government, the CLP government, are not even going to give them a platform in a hearing to voice those concerns and to ask those questions. I absolutely understand and acknowledge you won the election. No one's disputing that. You made a number of commitments to the Australian Christian lobby, which you failed to deliver in some of them, but this one looks like you're going to deliver. But let's be clear. People also have a right to put forward their concerns, and it should be done through a parliamentary Legislative Scrutiny Committee process where it can go on the record, where their voices can be cemented into Hansard of their concerns, of their worries, or, if it's the other side, why they think it's a good idea. We shouldn't be scared of that. And as I've said, if this government thinks that their amendment is so whiz-bang amazing, then let it go to a committee. Let it be out in the open. Don't do it in secrecy. Because, Madam Speaker, we are talking about vulnerable Territorians. They deserve the opportunity to have this come through to a scrutiny committee for us to do the work. I'm on the scrutiny committee. I can tell you right now there's not a lot of work before this committee at the moment. This government has only sent 6 pieces of legislation since they've been in government to the Legislative Scrutiny Committee. This is something that absolutely has an impact on Territory lives. This should go to a scrutiny committee. This is absolutely important for Territorians, and I urge the government to absolutely support the suspension of standing orders, to allow the motion to send this to a Legislative Scrutiny Committee where it belongs, because Territory rights are everyone's rights and everyone should have a say on this.
Member for Johnston.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I also speak in support of this, specifically in relation to this bill being referred to the Scrutiny Committee, which was welcome. We welcome the re-establishment. I welcome the re-establishment of that by the CLP. The job of the Scrutiny Committee is to examine whether or not a bill has sufficient regard to the rights and liberties of individuals, does not adversely affect rights and liberties or impose obligations. That is exactly relevant to this bill. Let us do our job. You know, let us do our job as elected representatives of all of our communities, and when there is a bill like this that absolutely goes to the rights and liberties of individuals, let us do our job and invite, as the Scrutiny Committee, which you have appointed, and actually examine this bill and what the impacts of it may be, and whether there are things that we can do to improve it, to change it, to make sure that it's the strongest, best law for everyone here in the Northern Territory. I strongly support the motion to suspend standing orders in order to refer it to a Scrutiny Committee. Thank you.
Are there any more speakers? The motion is to suspend standing orders under Standing Order 252 to debate a referral of this bill to the Scrutiny Committee. All those in favour say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. I think the noes have it. Division is called. Please ring the bells. The outcome of the division is 5 ayes and 16 noes. The motion to suspend standing orders has been defeated.